Peace and blessings, everybody. Just want to give everybody a chance to join the live. We have two of the parents of Richneck Elementary joining us. Make sure we can get them in. For those of y'all who aren't aware, today is the 2-week mark of the shooting that took place at Richneck Elementary School. There's a lot of concerned parents and parents that are concerned that they are not being answered, that they're not being heard. And, the students' curriculum is pretty much at a pause right now. And until that changes, these parents, kind of have no guides or of anything of how to, go about. Let's see. See if we can get them tapped in. But I hope everybody's Friday is doing well. One second, I apologize. Just trying to make sure the parents are on here so I can bring them on the live. Let's see. There we go. Yes, and Ms. Des, if you could just hit the plus button and can add you. Friday at the.
Hello? What's up?
Can y'all hear? Yep, we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I sent Des the invite. You should just have to click accept. Sent the invite. She's on the left. There we go. Peace. Can you hear?
Peace.
Check 1, 2. Just making sure we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. Hear you guys.
We can hear you.
Yeah,
okay. So we just want to do a quick intro. So we have two of the parents of Richneck Elementary. Let them give their introductions. And for those of y'all not aware, today is the 2-week anniversary of the Richneck Elementary 6-year-old student. And these parents have gone unanswered for these past 2 weeks. The kids have been out of school, and it's it's a major concern, and do need legal representation. And so I'll let y'all go, in whichever order, and let people know what we can do to assist.
Yes, you can go.
My name is Desiree Yvette, and I am a parent to a child that was in the classroom where the shooting occurred.
My name is Mark Anthony Garcia. My son's second grade class that was adjacent to the shooting, the area where the shooting. I think for the most part, we're trying to get answers to questions that are not being answered over from not only both parts of the school, but also both parts of the city, as well as the department, as well as people putting out these statements. So I think we're gonna. I know a lot of people may be hip to understand what happened, but I'm gonna give a brief breakdown of actually what happened. So on 1/6/23, where there was a school shooting at Richneck. So this is the in which the chief things. So we have 1:59 call came in to the police department about a shooting. They dispatched at 2 p.m. The sheriff entered the building at 2:04 while the child was being restrained. 2:06, the medics came in. From 2:07 to 2:11 is when the teacher was extracted from the medic. And this is where all of the melee starts to take place. Now, mind y'all, a lot of the parents, as well as one of the parents that's actually here from the parents that started the class, half of us was not notified that there was a school shooting that happened at the school. Not only we wasn't notified of the school shooting that actually happened at the school, there was no text or no email out during the time or after the time, 30 minutes, hours later, in which the email sent out, news already broke the story that there was.
You might have to mute one of the mics in your house, because if it's a microphone speaking, it's echoing. So I don't know if you have your live stream on another live stream, but you got mics.
No, I don't have. I just have this.
It's better now. Did you hear the echoing too?
I just muted myself just in case if it was on my end while he's speaking.
Yeah, I muted too. Let me see. Go ahead. We heard some, but for the most part. But let me see if we can hear you better now. I'm muting too. I was muted then too, but let me see.
All right. So I don't know.
Yo, no, it's better now. We can hear you
100% now. I don't know. All right. So going back to it, I don't know if everybody heard that. I'm going to give another quick breakdown. 1:59, the call came in. This is on 1/6/23, 2 Fridays ago. Okay. 1:59, the call came in that there was a shooting at Richneck Elementary. It was dispatched at 2 p.m. Dispatchers came to Richneck at 2:04. The sheriffs entered the building. At 2:06, the medics came into the building. From 2:04 to 2:06, the child was being restrained. 2:07 to 2:11, the school teacher was coming out of the building. Now, mind you, again, in this whole situation from the lockdown, no parents was notified of any initial threat of a school shooting via text, email, or phone call. Not sent out from the city, not sent out from the school until literally an hour to 2 hours later, after all the news media has broken that there was a shooting after school. Now, mind you, this school shooting there's an app that they send out, a coded number that they send out to every parent in the school if something was to happen, from elementary schools to high schools. None of this happened. So when parents got there, we were cordoned off at least 2-mile radius around the school from both angles. You couldn't come from the back side of Richneck because that was cordoned off. You can't come from the front side, and the only area we were able to come from was Dean Street and back of it. There was a church that they were telling people once we started walking up there again about a mile into the school that everybody was supposed to meet up at Hope Church. Again, this was not put out by no social media. This was all word of mouth on the ground while we got there. Parents are just now hearing that there's a shooter, and the shooter is a child. We did not hear that the shooter was a child on the news. We did not hear this from the school. This was all on the ground. Now, some parents, like Desiree possibly, inside of the crowd in the school, got word of this information because their children have cell phones. So some parents already knew what was going on. And this is where the mass confusion happens once we get down to the ground and nothing was being said to us. We were being told to wait 2, 3, 4 hours until all of this melee happened. So mind you, I'm going to talk about other things after, but I'm going to mute my mic and I'm going to let Desiree tell us how her situation transpired from what happened on her side.
All right. Thank you. So basically everything you said is kind of the same for us. The only thing is again, we were not alerted. The way I found out was through another parent whose child obviously goes to the same school as ours, and she was already driving to figure out where the kids were. And when we were told, when they told us, me and my husband instantly dropped everything and we got in the car and we were flying down the road. And it wasn't only just us, it was other people in a community that their kids go to that school. And again, nothing was sent to my phone, my husband's phone during this time. And even through that chaos, we were still being mindful of hopefully getting some type of a text message or email from the school to verify what was actually going on, because what was said to me was what everyone else knew in that moment, was that there was an active shooter in the school. That is what was told to us from the beginning. We didn't know the age, if there was multiple people, we didn't know anything outside of it being that there was an active shooter. And with that just alone, my husband, he went into full mode of, we got to get our daughter out of whatever. And even like he said, there was a block off to get to the school, and no one knew where to go. People were being informed that it was a church down the road from where the school was. Then somewhere along that line, there was people in the middle of the road leaving their cars, running. There was parents crying, screaming on the phone, frantically trying to connect with their family members, their children, to figure out what was going on. And we were not informed of until we were literally in the road of where the church was, where everybody was running. And again, it was a mouth at this point. There still wasn't no information provided to us through the school. Nothing was sent to us. Everything was word to mouth. Everything that was breaking at that moment to the news was being brought to us as well. So we were all learning as it was happening, or whatever information was being given. Nothing was a fact. Everything was speculation at that point. We didn't know where the kids were. We didn't know where the safe zone was. Nothing, because the safe zone was supposed to be a church. Then when people finally got to the church, it was then told to us that no, they're actually in the gymnasium. And it was like, okay, so are they coming to the church? What's happening? Then it was like, oh, the suspect is detained and he's in a police car, whatever. Then as we're waiting, it was breaking that, oh, a teacher got hurt. It was a student. There still was no communication from the school. Everything was word to mouth, just like Mark Anthony said. Everything was word to mouth at this point until Chief Drew came out. And even then, that was chaos. There was no type of, they were trying to figure out how to calm everybody down and still give the message. They didn't have a microphone. They were yelling. People couldn't hear. They were also trying to organize parents by grades. And people still couldn't hear him because it was still like everyone was yelling. People were frantic. It was mayhem. Straight up and down, it was mayhem. It was something you see in horror movies and in all these other movies. This is what you see. And then to experience it for real, it's like a whole different experience, and it's wild because it was mayhem. Through and through, it was mayhem. Then when they started going by grades, that's when the superintendent came out. That's when Chief Drew started trying. He was yelling. They got, at some point, a cop car came in and they was talking through the walkie-talkie thing or whatever that thing is on the loudspeaker. But still, it was chaos. That's all I could really give on that.
So I guess what we can establish is that right now, because we want to try to get solutions, there is no guess, text through alert system to alert, parents individually of a tragedy happening at their school. And being that, this, unfortunately these have happened. This is the third instance of something at a school. We feel like that should be something, in place. Since then, have they given anything other than, pretty much letters of comfort as far as resources for y'all? Or as far as the kids being out of school the last 2 weeks, have they gotten any curriculum the last 2 weeks, or what? Is everything just paused and y'all just don't get any answers? Or
So, all right. So they've given a packet. Okay, I went to the school earlier today, and they given us a packet. There was packets out front, and they were putting packets out there. But the whole part of these packets is with the teachers were supposed to lead these packets per class. Half of the teachers that I've talked to is not on board with these packets, because the packets that they have are generated packets from admin from Newport News Public School, not from the teachers itself. I looked at my son's packet today, in which they gave us today. Today's the first day that they've given packets. They told us last week to the parents that they will be giving packets on Monday. Throughout the week, no packets was given. So today's the first day, on a Friday, that packets were given. They said previously that it would be packets and then Chromebooks if school is going to be postponed until further notice. Mind you, this is already 2 weeks in. So the packets today go out. The packets are not even up to date to the speed of which the students have already been excelling at. So we got packets generated by admin building, has nothing to do with the second half of the school year in which the kids are already going to. The stuff that's in the packets, I got 2 packets. I got a 5th grade packet, which my son is not in 5th grade, and I got a 2nd grade packet. The packets are not, they're not equivalent to what these kids are supposed to be learning. Okay? So when I asked the new principal, who is the new principal's person that gave me the packets, Miss Lynch, Miss Karen Lynch, she's the one who gave me the packets today. And I asked her, are these packets going to be given out every week? She said, no, this is just for now. And once Wednesday comes, we're going to find that you guys are going to find out what's the next steps and process for these kids to have a return date for them to go. So these packets are supposed to last them until, I guess, Wednesday. My son could do that packet in a day. That's how easy that packet is. It's not hard at all. Stuff is old stuff. My thing is that even from the leadership of Newport News, transpiring down to each parent, the dissemination of information that we're supposed to be getting, we're not getting. All parents are not getting. They have Facebook groups open, and there's other information that's getting out there that we're seeing this, and it's just getting down. And the work is not going to be credited work. So you got kids doing packets. What are they doing packets for? That doesn't even make any sense. The teachers in the class don't even accept. They're not accepting the packets because it's not nothing that they put out. I talked to my son's teacher. She's not on board with the packets. Why is she not on board with the packets? They didn't go through her. They didn't have a meeting and say, hey, who's going to come together for these meetings? Now, if I'm wrong, again, there's other Richneck parents that's in here. There's other people that support. I'm telling you now, we've been through this, and we continue to be through it. We continue to ask these questions, and we're not getting answers from it. I asked the acting principal in today about the things that's being implemented. All that she can say is on Wednesday at 3:30 to 5:30 to come out to the Richneck reopening so you guys can see your children interact with not only their friends, their teachers, but into the building to see if they feel like they're going to be safe. You can also take your child out of that school via now throughout this time, but she advises everybody to come out to Wednesday to try to make sense of the situation. But past that, dissemination of information is not going out. So Desiree, I'm gonna let you say how you feel about that, because that's what I'm getting.
So in terms of the packets, I guess I was made aware of it, but to be completely honest and transparent, for me personally and my child, I don't really give a fuck about it, straight up and down, because regardless of whatever packets they do, whatever precautions that they do, my daughter doesn't feel safe. Plain and simple. It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter what measurements they're taking. She doesn't feel safe after what happened and what she witnessed. And I mean, more power to the new acting principal. I hope that it is a comfort for the children that choose to return back and their families. But for me personally, it really doesn't matter, because my daughter's not going back to that school. I just wish that it didn't take for something like this for them to take this serious or want to start making these moves. It should have been done beforehand.
We agree. And so I guess another question is, and moving forward, I guess we kind of talked about this, earlier, but what can we do our end game, and with your child witnessing this, knowing that she's not going to return here, and saw in the comments, they haven't addressed the students' needs of her class. I haven't seen anything like that. Like, they should be excluded, of something. There should be some type of, and we don't want to push back any further, so we don't want to say some type of, educational grievance, but there should be something special in place put in for them. And the city leaders, I think they should fund, like I said, the Demi Community Center is not far from Richneck. There's other city resources, so the city has to be involved. Have you all heard from the governor or the mayor of the city in all of this? Because, I mean, the school board is one entity, but the mayor, this is his city. So have you heard from the mayor or the governor? This is a 6-year elementary school shooting. Have y'all heard from the governor's office at all?
I haven't heard from the governor or mayor or superintendent or chief in this matter. And we've sent them emails. Both parents, both of us sent them emails. Nobody has contacted us back. I can show y'all proof more than anything of the messages that I send. If you guys go on my Instagram, Loso Biscuits, you guys, even on here, you can go to my page. You can look at everything that we're saying right now is all accurate. None of this is fabricated. We've contacted them. Nobody contacted us back. We sent them voicemails. We sent them emails. I know from my personal space, I've done all of this in the order of what it comes down to our leadership. The only person we haven't contacted, I haven't contacted, is the governor.
Ms. Taz at 03, are you a parent? I see you're wanting to join. Are you a parent? And like I said, we're open because we want more parents. And the question was, how can we get more parents in the movement and help for guidance? That's exactly why we're doing this live. This is, a call for help. And because, there'll be an email, and we can even make a whole separate social media account strictly for parents, because the information that the parents need, they're not getting. And we don't want people to have to filter through, we have a lot going on our page, and we don't want people to have to filter through to get the actual information. So we can make that, so you can inbox me, you can inbox Losa, you can inbox Dez, and or like I said, if you're a parent of Newport News Public Schools, we're not just not turning away help from anybody, but we want to get to the root of it, locally, or if you have advocacy groups or anything like that. So we want to definitely stick straight to the point, because this is what's getting drowned out in the media. So I said, right now, if we want to be able, like I said, create the outlet for parents, and we know this is not something people may think is typically a BLM issue. So we're doing this because we're here to help the community. So if you have that email created, if you put it in the comments, I can pin it, and all parents can email that, and so everybody can be in line. And then so the ultimate goal too would be to talk to everybody throughout the weekend. Monday or sometime next week, we can all get together and get these lists of demands together and make sure, all parents, priority is on the parents of Richneck students. And then if you are a parent of the schools, then as well. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Anything? I don't know. Can't.
Can't hear you. You're breaking.
We can't hear you at all. You muted? Oh, I think
Y'all
you're
can hear?
muted.
Okay. All right. So I know a lot of people were saying, you know, what are some community organizations that's trying to help this situation? Again, if you go to my link in my bio, I have a Hoops and Vibe. That's a volunteer initiative that I'm trying to bring not only to Richneck Elementary, but also to other schools in the 757 that will help me get leadership mentor. And mind you, my background, I'm a military veteran. I've done this many times. I've done this at YMCAs. I've done this in other schools out here in the 757, from high schools all the way down to elementary schools. My program works. The whole part about it is Newport News City is not accepting volunteers like they say they are. So every time I put in a volunteer packet, nobody is picking it up. So we can get these programs and these initiatives out here that they continue to say that there are no volunteers and people that's going to step up. I call the BS flag on that. Reason being, I have a whole setup, and I've been doing this for a very long time, but it just seems that the city itself tells the school, you guys can have this, and nobody contacts us back, because half of the people that's actually in the admin see it and push it through, and nobody ever sees it going up the chain of the ladder. So what I'm saying is, if you guys go in the bio, you'll actually see the link in which I'm trying to do. Again, it still has to be roundtable at Richneck or any other elementary school. But with your help, the donations and the support that we continue to push, we're going to have it. But on another note, we came here to talk about things that we're not getting answers for. So let me I don't want to go off the subject too much, but I need to tell y'all some of the things that was put out there the other day. And I know that Desiree is going to back me up when it comes down to this, because we're looking at the statement, the family statement that was put out. Okay. Now, mind you, a lot of these things that these families put out in the statement, I don't know if everybody saw the statement. I know that Jabari got the statement itself. We can put that link up. It's actually on my page as well. I know Desiree has it as well. It's up there. It's actually, you go up there for family statement for Richneck shooting, online, type it in, and you'll be able to look at it as I read it. But I'm specifically going to talk about 2 paragraphs. And I'm going to talk about the 3rd paragraph and the 4th paragraph. And then I'm going to break it down for y'all a little bit more, because I know a lot of people are seeing this and they don't understand how clear this situation it really is. There's a lot of red flags that happen here that we're not putting together. And I'm going to put 2 scenarios out there. I'm going to put the student scenario, and I'm also going to put a possible student being helped by somebody scenario. Because I'm prior military, I can see this because I've seen this before. So let me go to the 3rd paragraph. The 3rd paragraph says, our family has always been committed to responsible gun ownership and keeping firearms out of the reach of children. The firearm our son accessed was secure. 2 big red flags right there, because how did the child get the gun? They said on the news the other day that the parents put out a statement, and I'm trying to find this statement, that the gun was on a shelf that had 6 shelves. It was on a top shelf, and there was a key up there with the gun. I'm trying to remember what media personnel told me this, because I could put that out there for y'all. But I cannot speculate, but this is what I heard. Okay, let's just say if that is something that's out there. Cool. Let's go to the 4th paragraph. While our son's privacy interests are important, transparency in this matter is a valid community interest. Our son suffers from acute disability that was under a care plan at the school that included his mother and father attending the school with him and accompanying him to every class every day. Initially, our son has benefited from extensive community care that also includes his grandparents working along caregivers to ensure his needs and accommodations are met. The week of the school shooting was the first week which we were not in class with him. We regret the absent on this day for the rest of our lives. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to that breakdown. Let's go back to the third paragraph. Desiree, I'm going to let you jump in, but I got to let these people know something. Our family has been committed to responsible gun ownership and keeping firearms out of the reach of children. How did that child get the gun? If you have secure, is it behind a wall? Is it behind a safe? Is it a lock? Did the kid see do he know the combination? If you put in a gun away every day, is that child, this disabled child that you guys are talking about, that has a disability, not disabled, but a dyslexic child, overhearing what you guys are doing or you guys are seeing? Not only did that happen, this child got the gun the same exact week that you guys are saying that you guys wasn't there that week. So if you guys wasn't there that week, did the parents tell the school that you guys were not going to be there so somebody could be there and assist Miss Warner from not having this accident happen? Was the school notified that the parents was not going to be there? Did the parents give somebody access to be in their place while they was not going to be there? Were any of the parents in that class notified of other parents in their class with their student why this was taking place? And if so, they stated that they were there every single day in the school. We would like to see the logs of them being there in the class every single day, because if you're putting out statements that's not true, this is something that also adds up. It's a security risk. And if it's a security risk, that means that the implements that you guys have for this care plan, it should be under investigation as well as the security matters of not only the school, but the staff, the faculty, and the students. On that part, there is things that is seen here that, again, a 6-year-old child with a disability, a dyslexic ability, is putting this together. You mean to tell me a 6-year-old child not only knows the combination of a secure gun, he got the gun from the house into the car. He got the gun from the car, not in his backpack, but on the person with nobody knowing. You got the gun on you in the car into the school in the admin building without being properly searched, only a book bag search. Nobody called the office to the classroom and say, the child is here. To have another teacher that was supposed to be in the place of the parents to walk that child and be back to the class to make sure that none of this happened, and the child brings that gun inside of there the same week that the parents is not there. We're not putting this together here. Possibly somebody helped this child plan this situation. That's how I feel about this. Possibly, I don't know, but I'm gonna let Desiree, if you got something to say about that, but this is how I feel about it, because there's a lot of things that they're not telling you in the media that's coming down from admin that they're not saying. Not just admin, but also the Newport News City. This is a lot of things that's happening, y'all.
So yeah, in terms of the where the source was for that was from their family attorney, who made that statement to a news reporter, in terms of what it was, and I will read it for word because I have it, and I also shared it to you, and I also shared it to Jafar. So this is what it says. It says, and this was from, sfgate.com. It says, Ellison told the Associated Press by phone Thursday evening that his understanding is that the gun was in the mother's closet on a top shelf that was well over 6 feet high. The weapon also had a trigger lock that requires a key similar to a bike lock. Regarding how the child may have gotten access to the gun, Ellison said, and I quote, "We don't know." Then, regarding the disability, the family said the boy was under a care plan at the school that included his mother or father attending school with him and accompanying him to class every day. I hope you heard that, right? So it says every single day that the student was in that classroom, he was to be accompanied by an adult, whether it be his mother or father. Now, again, my daughter she was in that classroom, and I understand how IEPs work. I understand if this was considered a care plan under the IEP category. I understand how that works. I understand confidentiality. I understand privacy. I understand all of those things, right? I do. For me, as a parent, I would have appreciated had we been contacted without releasing any of the child and their family's personal information, just made aware that there is a adult in the classroom with our children who is not a staff member. It didn't have to be specific on who the parent was, who the child was. I understand that. Again, I understand the protocols and the confidentiality and IEPs and care plans. I understand that. But just to have some awareness that there was another adult accompanying in the classroom with all of our children, I would have wanted at least to know that there was an adult that is not a staff member, just so that I can be made aware that that's just a line of communication. You know, it's not a breach of privacy and confidentiality because I'm not asking for names. Maybe I would have, and they could have declined. And then from there, I could have made whatever choice I felt was in my child's best interest. Because again, that's my child, right? It's my right to protect them from whoever, no matter if it's in school or otherwise. So we weren't even given that option. Now, it's just like a lot that doesn't really make sense, because some parents have said that they knew, and the only reason why they knew is because they accompanied during a field trip, but they weren't made aware that this was that situation. They thought they was just another parent, you know, coming for the field trip when they went to the fire station. Again, okay, cool. I just would have appreciated to have been made aware. Again, no one is saying that I wanted to breach any confidentiality on anything like that. But as a parent with a child in that classroom, I deserve to have known what other adults are being around my child that is not a staff member, because we don't know anything about this person. We don't know how they are. And now with the severity of what happened, it's like, well, damn, it could have been worse. What if the adult did it? What if it was something else? I don't like that idea. I don't want to even think about that shit. But that is something that now I have to think about because of something like this happening and not being made aware of that. And I don't appreciate that. And I'm pretty sure plenty of other parents don't appreciate that either. Again, like I will say, I'm not saying give me the kids' information. I'm not telling you none of that. But just let us know that there is another parent that is not a staff member in that classroom. That's it. Plain and simple. There's no ifs, ands, or buts around that. Again, like I said, you don't got to tell me the IEP, the care plan. I don't want to play-by-play of it, whatever. But just for transparency and communicational purposes and for respect of the parent, you should have at least let us know. And they didn't, if that was the situation. Again, this was a statement from the family's attorney on their behalf. So yeah, that's really it. Like I said, there was no transparency, there was no communication, and the communication goes back not only for this incident on the care plan, it goes back to the whole school as a whole, administrative, you know, school board. It's all of that. All of that comes into play, and that's all of the problems that I have, and that's all of my red flags, and that's all the things that I want there to be shed some light on, and someone has to say something, and no one's saying anything. And that's my biggest problem as well. No one is saying anything, nothing. And the people who are saying something are too scared to actually say anything. And I respect that and I understand that, but no change is really going to come out of this if people don't start saying something.
There hasn't been any plan in place, any type of reset activity. We don't feel like there should be, like, you know, the first thing the kids are gonna be introduced back to is where the tragedy happened. You know, there needs to be, you know, just how we feel like there needs to be some type of reset. And like I said, you know, some parents aren't even, you know, comfortable doing it in that space. So, you know, there's, like I said, there's there's resources available from the city of other, buildings that house that are not far from it. Because like I said, when you saying that you don't even want to send them back, you saying, hey, and them pretty much saying, hey, we're going to come back to first to see how everything is. Are y'all comfortable with that? Taking, or are they just saying that parents come, or they're saying bring your kids back to this as well? Or is there going to be a meeting with just strictly Richneck parents and the school, or are they, asking y'all to bring your kids as well?
I think it's for the students and the families as a whole to come and kind of just see and I guess get a feel of what changes they've made or are making and all of these things. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Ms. Warner's classroom as a whole, they will not be in the same classroom. They will be moved to a different classroom. And there hasn't been any word on who's supposed to be the teacher now for them that I've heard. So, yeah.
I feel like that, it's a scary situation. I don't know what Los had to go, but let's see if that's some feedback. And so we, like I said, these are concerns. We wanted to do it live, so people can come back and re-listen, and we can share this out to different news media outlets. And again, if anybody's watching this, we are really seeking legal assistance, because we can do all these lives and we can march or protest or come to city council, but they're not moving off just the pain of parents directly involved, indirectly involved, past issues. And until some type of legal pressure is put on them, they're going to continue to feel like they can keep pushing us to the side, or take as long as they need to cover up whatever they want, because they don't negligence. Whose fault is it? How did it get this bad? And whose fault is it? I mean, unfortunately, we don't, people keep saying we don't want to point fingers, but no, we have to, because this is very serious and it could have been worse. And then we're getting different accounts where it's only not worse because of acts of God. But, we're not here to speculate on anything in that. But again, like Los was saying, the whole purpose of this live is, it says unanswered parents. And so, the media can put out words like, oh, see, it's covered, but it's not covered by who needs to hear it. It's not being reciprocated by people who can move something, because there's no reason the governor, at the least of the state, with all other shooting elementary school at that, this should be bringing from the president's ears. It's I mean, can say it's cool to have it on the news, but that's not impactful. That's just sharing information. That's not, anything that's going to help these kids' babies and moving forward. Especially, like I said, the parents in that class. And we do have an account of a parent who has reached out to this, and we'll keep her identity anonymous as everybody else. But she had just pulled her child out of that class a few weeks prior to this incident for various different reasons that we won't go into detail. So we open up these platforms so people to be able to speak. We hope that it's picked up on larger platforms. So, if you can tag whoever that sheds light on situations. We work a lot with different organizations that do missing children and everything else. If you know any other organizations that specialize in this, we're appreciative if they're tuned in. The individuals from Uvalde that have been getting involved from Texas. And unfortunately, like I said, when you're put in these situations, there is no blueprint. So, we just want to say, give, people as many as time to help. Yes, say tag WTKR, tag all the local news outlets. They've done, joint interviews, but if we can get, a mass of parents from Richneck specifically, for a press conference, and, whatever your grievance is, you can just have it written down. And if you don't want to be shown, you can. If you just want to email, fine. If you're comfortable with WhatsApp, we can get a group chat going strictly for parents. But like I said, Mr. Los will be heading that up, because like I said, he's a parent. And Miss Des, she's a parent directly involved, and they're willing, and they need more assistance, and it needs, more parents. And like I said, we understand, saying, because Miss Des, before last week, she was one of those parents too. Hey, I don't want to show my face in fear of my daughter. And why do we have to live in fear to speak out? That's an issue in itself. We've been shut out so much, or, given a runaround. These phone call marathons, they all got to transfer to this person and transfer to this person. And, oh, this person's out today. And, oh, they're out for the weekend. It's just like, it's been 2 weeks, I can only pin on one at a time. But yeah, if y'all want, if y'all are in line, we can get that entire social media outlet on its own Instagram and Facebook, so it can have its own face for people to reach out to and know from these lives what it is. And Losi has his GoFundMe up. We generally don't share GoFundMes, but we share that because it's coming directly from a parent. I saw some GoFundMe saying this is for the kid and they're buying toys, but we don't know who these people are. Like I said, we only know who we're speaking to, and in order to keep things as organized as we can, well, we're just keeping tight quarters. I don't know if y'all had anywhere else, any other questions that y'all wanted to ask or anything else y'all wanted to put out there.
I just want to see if we have anybody up here that knows anybody, like you said earlier, to help us advocate on a lawyer tip, or lawyer standpoint, so we can actually put the fire to the flame here. Like I said, we've been to town halls, we've talked to not mayor, but to other people, and we're not getting answers from the city in which we are living in right now. There's a lot of things that's not being said in this timeline, and finally, we hear that things have to be put out there on aspect of this investigation. That's understand, but you have to understand there are other kids in other grades and other situations in this school that has not been addressed, and these kids are losing knowledge because they're not in class. There's nothing out there helping these children to continue to go. There's parents also losing income that has to stay home because the programs that they're saying or there's at these other schools that's trying to help people, they're taking a certain everybody. You know how many kids are in Richneck Elementary? Everybody's not at that program. Everybody cannot do these programs. So there's things that is not being done here to help not only the families, hungry families, kids that's not getting an education who wants to continue, but also the mental health aspect. It's a lot of they're saying, oh yeah, they have people at the school. The school people only write things down and put it inside of the notes. That's all they're doing. So we're just trying to get someone of a legal assistance to help us in this situation to keep going and putting our views out there, our questions and our so we can get the answers to move forward in our kids' lives and our lives so we can be better for our communities. Again.
I respect it. And yeah, I hope that that's heard on his end. For me, it's pretty much the same thing, and it's gonna continue to be the same thing. As a parent to a child that was in that classroom, I just wanted to be made very clear that right now it's only me on that parent spectrum that's talking out, and that is okay. But as loud as my voice is, I still need that support as well, because it's not only for my child. I'm doing this for all of those kids in that classroom and all of those kids in that school and the staff, because it was broken. It's a broken system that's happening right now. And this is what happens when the system is broken. And this is not the first time. This is not going to be the last time. But this is what's happening right now with us as a parent. And this is in our community. And some change has to be made. And it can't just stop here, because to learn that there were 2 other shootings in the last, 18 months, 16 months, I didn't even know that until this happened. And I'm like, that's crazy, because that didn't make news headlines. It probably did, but it got swept right under the rug for other things, for more important things. And this is important, and it's going to be important. It has been important. This is something that is actively happening, not just here, but everywhere. So change has to be done. And even in this little town, something needs to be changed, because it's a broken system. It's broken.
Yeah, I said I'm speaking out, on behalf of, a family, and like I said, been in this fight for 7 years. But also, I said my daughter, she's 3 now, but she'll be entering the Newport News public school system, very soon. And so it's a scary thought. I have a 6-year-old niece who's in, the public schools here locally, and she's that age, and to even imagine her witnessing it. And that's why saying we're here for y'all, and it's not just for for this, it's for future grievances not have to happen, and righting past wrongs. And if they keep letting the same people stay in and keep doing the same thing, they're going to keep doing it. They're going to keep collecting their checks, and keep ignoring when they want to ignore, and keep having their Zoom only meetings with parents because they don't want to face them. And in your town halls where how much information can you get out when you have 60 people talking and you're not individually addressing their concerns? And it's just okay, did you take every comment in consideration and reach out to everybody individually? They should have been capturing emails and follow-ups, but until then it's still just they're devising their plan and keeping y'all out. It's like, as they're discussing it, y'all need to be there in the conversation. And especially this far in the game, it's been 2 weeks. They should be coming and knocking on y'all's door, or having inviting y'all as parents back to the Richneck, or like I said, a community center, to talk and see how y'all feel. In a closed setting, no news cameras, because even that can be intense to and even that will open up the door. Like I said, we're just throwing out ideas out there because we need something. So give y'all every option, every closed door, open doors, cameras, no cameras, parents, no parents, students, no students, just something. Just answer, the call. And, it shouldn't take 2 weeks to get it together. It was an isolated incident, but, take it head on. It shouldn't be, you feeling offensive at city, because y'all haven't visited the schools. Put that in y'all's curriculum. Make sure, whatever district superintendents you are, visit the school once or twice a month. Put it in the calendar. What are y'all? And I want an audit of what y'all do during the day. What is going on? Do y'all just have to, have no work schedule, and pretty much if there's no incident, y'all just kind of gotta push papers and sign things and show up at city ran events? No, what are y'all actually doing? Are y'all talking to the teachers? Because that's another whole issue in itself. Everything we heard from the teachers at that meeting was scary too. They don't get respected. They're getting hands put on them. They're getting assaulted verbally and physically. Is there anything? And like I said, if they can't teach their class, it boils over to this. And I can say, including yourself, Ms. Des, every parent, and we definitely want to give our salute and prayers to the teacher, but we've heard nothing but the cases of her being a stellar teacher that advocates for her kids. That's all we keep hearing. She advocated for her kids, not just this incident. She advocated for her kids, but there's only so much they can do as teachers, especially, like I said, to get to this point. And then there's only so much, people can do. So if it's wherever the ball is being dropped, that needs to be fixed. We don't have another instance for something like this to happen. Columbine happened once. You've all that once, but 3 times in 18 months. That's no. This is we need to put out the city, Newport News. We know Uvalde. We're here in Richneck, but it's the city. It's Newport News, Virginia. People don't get it twisted, and it starts with this city, and this city has to take accountability as a whole, and then as a state, because we can't keep failing our babies. They don't feel safe. It's tough, like I said, because I'm here as a parent. It's tough not knowing what exactly to say to your kids, because when you strive yourself in knowing what to say to them for the moment, but if you're not getting answers, that's why they're frustrated, because I don't know what to tell my kid because you're not telling me nothing. So yeah, please reach out. And again, like I said, I don't hold this too long. I know we've been hitting the hour mark. Anything y'all want to say, like I said, the email's out there. We'll put it out there more. We'll pin it. We'll put it on our Facebook. Our Facebook is back up. Our Twitter, YouTube, and like I said, tag news sources in this, tag activists, tag parent groups. I can say that. I guess I say parent groups. Just any resource you have, because like I said, we need lawyers, and the lawyers they reached out to as parents, don't want to touch it because quote unquote damages, but there is damages. He just named them. You have to be off work and putting funds in, and so we just need some lawyer to care about this case and these kids and these parents.
I think so again, our link is the link is in the bio. We're trying to continue to we're going to try to keep getting more answers, not only for us parents, but for our community. whether it be at Richneck, whether it be at any other school, the situation is not a situation just for this district. It's just happening in the whole district of Newport News. So mind you, even if you're going in another school, this can happen to your school. I know I said this again yesterday. I said this when it happened. A lot of people do not look at this as, okay, well, this is just in Newport News. No, this can happen in any school. It's only because the policies that's enacted in this time, it's not policies that's for the school. It's not for elementary schools. Every last town hall meeting, every last meeting that they done talked about from teachers on down has said that the last line of defense, the last community donations or whatever goes to elementary that they done talked about from teachers. A lot that we have to put into effort, and we're going to continue to put into effort, at least in my part, for helping whatever measure that we have to do past this moment right now, past the moment that we already put in. We'll put it out to our media. I appreciate all of the media outlets that's continuing to push our story, our local medias that's continue to push our story, as well as the parents that's pushing these stories out too. They have to hear us in order for these stories to be out there. A lot of the other parents, teachers, and people, they're speaking on their own platforms, how they're speaking, but it's not coming out and hitting as hard because we're not together. We have to stand together in this situation no matter what. That's the only way, no matter if we're in Richneck or anywhere else, that these situations are going to not happen again, but we make a difference so they never happen again in this area. That's all I got to say. Make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, Loso Biscuits. You can follow me up here, Shots by Loso. Again, my link for if you want to hit me as a parent or anybody else is up here, mark.a.garcia3@gmail.com if you have any questions or concerns. Or if you also want to hit Desiree, she's up here. I'm pretty sure that she'll let you guys know. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. Jabari, I appreciate you. Thank you for your platform, for letting people know what we're trying to out here do, and continue to be with us as we go on through this journey. Thank you.
No doubt. And so I'll put it in the description. I'll tag y'all's social medias in there and put a description. And this will be up on the page to share to whoever. We put the link on Facebook, but we'll download the video and try to put it, wherever else. Again, once y'all do see it, repost it anywhere. Anything you tag now is not going to show up once we post it from this live. So if y'all could, once we post it, tag any elected official that tag any parenting group you may know, tag any nonprofits of any of the areas, tag even the organization March for Lives, because they have some similar. Tag the governor and the mayor, especially too, because I some type of way that the governor hasn't spoke on something of this magnitude. And it's not to annoy. It's literally, like I said, to raise awareness. So if nothing else, we definitely appreciate everybody tuning in and sharing. And please continue to keep them in your prayers. And again, we'll tag them in the description afterwards, so they'll be easily findable. And we'll put the parents of Richneck pin in there as well. And then all links we'll put on Facebook, because it's not as easy to access links on Instagram as y'all know. So we'll put the links on our Facebook page, Black Lives Matter 757 page. And again, if there's any groups and stuff, I said, feel free to inbox us. You can always remain anonymous. We've been doing this for 6 years. We've worked on various cases, and your privacy is definitely in tune. We can understand how it can be coming out on this, but trust and believe, like I said, we have your back. And, most, like I said, everybody involved is parents, so we have our baby's best interests at heart. Peace and blessings with everybody. Hope everybody has a good Friday. Richneck strong.
Richneck strong.